Well, it's one for the money.
Come on and get with it.
2 for the show.
I feel lucky.
3 to get ready. Now go, cat, go, but don't you step on my blue suede shoe. You can do anything but lay off of my blue suede shoe.
We were a family.
I mean, we heard Elvis had done that, but the thing I always loved about it was your intro. Where's one for the money?
Most of the music that was being played in the honky-tonks was country music.
2 for the show.
It was what was later called rockabilly.
3 to get ready now. Go, cat, go. Step on my blue suede shoe. You can do anything but let off of my blue suede shoe.
Mr. Carl Perkins, the Hillbilly Cat, the first king of rock, the master guitar player, songwriter. Not only is he all of that, but he's also a founding father and one of the most influential men in rock and roll history. For 5 decades, Carl's music had us picking him up and putting him down, bopping and rocking, and has filled our souls with heartfelt emotion.
But you can do anything, lay off of my blue suede.
Listen up as Carl Perkins and Paul McCartney get together. 2 old friends trading stories and songs. Carl's roots lie deep in the cotton country of Lake County, Tennessee. Born in 1932 to the only white sharecroppers in the small town of Tiptonville, he spent his first years carefree and playing on the banks of the Mississippi River. But by the age of 6, he began learning 2 things. 1, how to pick cotton, and 2, how to pick the guitar. Fueled by the black gospel music he heard in the fields and the country sounds of the Grand Ole Opry coming from the radio, Carl's passion and ability began to grow. Before long, Carl and his older brother Jay entered the rough and raucous world of honky-tonks. Here, he had a place where he could experiment and hone his craft. A place where he could release and escape from the poverty of his everyday surroundings.
God put me in that position. I know he did for a reason, and that was to dig down in my soul and try to be a little different with my music.
Paul, I want to welcome you to Memphis, Tennessee.
Throughout his colorful career, Carl has influenced a lot of great artists, but none more so than his old friend and one-time Beatle, Paul McCartney.
Oh. All right.
In 1993 at the Liberty Bowl in Memphis, Tennessee, these 2 legends of rock got together backstage before Paul's concert. Let's watch now as the 2 masters jam, tell stories, and give us a glimpse into the early days of rock and roll.
We're down in Memphis where the mighty Mississippi flows. Yeah, we're sitting down in Memphis having a ball at the Liberty Bowl. 'Cause old Carl Perkins came to see the Paul McCartney show. What you say about it, son?
I say I'm here with Carl in Memphis, his hometown.
Yeah.
Well, fair enough. I said I'm here with Carl and I know he ain't gonna let me down.
Not at all, boy.
Not if he can help it. Well, the last time I saw him, he really shut the roof down.
Showing out a little, ain't you?
When didn't I?
Oh,
Oh boy.
tough enough.
Hey, listen, Carl, remember when we met?
Oh,
You were telling me
well,
about the
never
early
forget.
days. You were telling me about how you learned guitar.
Yeah.
Who did you learn off? Remind me who that was.
There was a black gentleman that I grew up in the Lake County cotton field. Taught me how to pick cotton. And he played a little guitar. I thought he was great. His name was John Westbrooks, and he did a little thing like a... And I must have been maybe 7 or 8 years old, and he would go... And I can see that fingernail popping on there.
Reminds me of Hendrix, Jimi Hendrix. That.
I'd hear Uncle John Westbrook, he'd go, and about 8 or 10 rows over, Sister Juanita say, oh, yeah. And my little blood would start crawling around through my soul. I said, oh, boy, they're going to sing. Gonna lay down my burdens on, down by the riverside, boom, boom, down by the riverside. And I can, to this day, hear the music, the rhythm, the feel that I heard these black people sing, and I'd catch myself singing along with them. The thing that was so magic about it, a lot of those people didn't know the words to some of the songs they'd start singing, but it would be that good up-tempoed, some glad morning, when this life is old, ooh, yeah, fly away. It would just flood the air.
So he's the man we have to thank, huh?
Well,
now,
no question about
what's
it.
happened to him? Nobody knows.
Well, he was an old man back then, Paul, and he passed away many years ago. But he left inside this little country boy a new sound.
It was the environment that I was raised in that caused me to be maybe a little bit different with my country music, but it basically was country songs that I was speeding up, and that's what rockabilly turned out to be.
Rockabilly music ain't nothing to it. It's just a hopped up country song.
I've always felt rockabilly is not something that you sit and listen to. If you don't move something, I kind of think something's gonna break. You know, you gotta pat your foot or pop your finger and become a part of the music.
All your children wanna rock, mama. All your children wants to roll. They wanna roll, wanna rock, wanna pop, belly pop. All your children want to rock, rock, now go. We're not trying to live too fast. We might as well try to live in class. Better move out before the rent comes due, 'cause we won't live in a blue suede shoe.
My dad gave $3 and a chicken for the first guitar I ever had.
All your children want to rock, mama. All your children want to rock.
It got painted 3 or 4 times, and it must have weighed 40 pounds.
We wanna roll, wanna rock, wanna pop till we pop.
I would listen to the radio, I'd listen to the Grand Ole Opry, and I'd try to play along with these people.
All your children wanna rock.
The music of the Grand Ole Opry burrowed deep into the heart of this country boy, giving him hope and an alternative to poverty as a way of life.
I really was determined to get out of the Lake County cotton fields, and I thought music could be the way out.
It was a lot more than a way out. It was the way to some deep and lasting friendships. One being the late, great Elvis Presley. Not only did these two tour together, but at one time they traded #1 hits in the charts with Carl's Blue Suede Shoes and Elvis's Heartbreak Hotel. Back at Sun Records, Carl and Elvis were also a half of what became known as the $1 Million Quartet. The other half being none other than Mr. Great Balls of Fire himself, Jerry Lee Lewis, and the man in black, Johnny Cash.
All your children want to rock.
We'd go set up in a motel, Elvis, I, Jerry Lee, John. We'd play music, entertain each other till 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning.
You know, Carl, I mean, as you know, when we were kids in Liverpool, some of our friends had come over to the States, and they'd come over to places like New Orleans, Memphis and that, with the boats, mainly sailors sailing out of Liverpool. And they'd come back and they'd bring these records. And there was some stuff, you know, we never really heard before. We'd heard of Elvis Presley, we'd heard of Little Richard and stuff. Started hearing about this guy, this kid, Carl Perkins.
Oh, you're kidding.
Yeah, man, and we became like really serious big fans of your stuff. You know, like True Love. Yo, what key do you do that? True Love. Your love. True love, baby. That's what you give to me.
Kidding me not, boy.
You give me true love.
I said,
Your love. True love. Your love.
true love, baby.
That's what you give to me.
Yeah, God made the world and he made it round. Got a baby and I'm glad I found it. Her love wasn't meant for me.
Yeah.
And my baby, she'll always be. She gives me true love.
Your love.
Your true love.
Your love.
Your true love, baby. That's what
you give
to me.
Yeah, we hear stuff like that, and of course, blue suede shoes. I mean, you're a biggie. I mean, we heard Elvis had done that, but the thing I always loved about it was your intro. Well, there's one for the money,
That's right.
two for the show. You know, everybody else goes one for the money, two for the
I
show.
know.
Much hipper, your beginning.
Oh, you gotta be kidding.
Oh, I did it in a club I was in last summer, and the guitar player I was doing it, he knew your version. And he got so mad at the band because they did the Elvis.
They did.
No, serious.
I had never owned a pair of blue suede shoes, and I was playing this club here in town, and I heard a boy tell a girl, said, don't step on my suede. I said, whoa. Now, he got to be some kind of fool. I mean, this is a beautiful girl, and he's crazy about them stupid shoes. When I went home that night, I could not get it out of my mind what a beautiful girl and what a stupid fool with a pair of shoes. So I got out of bed about 3 o'clock in the morning after trying for 2 hours to go to sleep, and I couldn't get it off my mind. And I wrote this little song, and thanks to y'all, you fed me, you clothed us, you bought bicycles. Well, it's 1 for the money, 2 for the show, 3 to get ready, now go, cat, go, go. Step on my blue suede shoe. You can do anything but a call for my blue suede shoe. I thought the old nursery rhyme, 1 for the money, 2 for the show, 3 get ready, and 4 to go. I said, whoa, that's it. And I wrote blue, S-W-A-D-E, shoes. I still think it's S-W-A-D-E spelled suede.
Break my house, steal my car, drink my liquor from an old fruit jar. You do anything that you want to do, but
I'm pulling off for them shoes, and don't you step on my blue suede. Do anything off of my blue suede shoes.
give me a little bit of picking now.
From an old fruit jar. Do anything that you wanna do, but baby, lay off of them shoes, don't you step on my blue suede shoe. Yeah. Well, you can do anything but lay off of my blue suede shoe.
That's the
Remember
famous,
that old Indy?
that's the famous one, man.
Joining the Sun Record family in 1954, Carl not only brought with him his gospel roots and experience from the Tonks, but also an eagerness to blend his style with those new sounds he heard coming across the national airwaves. Carl Perkins and rock and roll were about to change the face of popular music.
And when I came to Sun Records in Memphis, There was a boy by the name of Elvis who just started. I was the second cat in there, and we didn't know what we were doing. We knew that some of the kids were liking what we were playing.
I suppose all you guys got it from the same place. You know, all those black guys, you know, playing that stuff, and you white guys picked it up.
That's
you know.
it. That's it. And then there was a black guy by the name of Chuck Berry who was picking up on some country things with, "Hey, Maybelline, why don't you be true? Maybelline, why don't you be true? Just start back doing the things you used to do." You know, Bill Monroe could have done that song. You know,
How would he have done it?
Huh?
How would Bill have done it?
Well, I was motivated over the hill, saw Maybelline, the coupe de ville. They Cadillac rolling on an open road, ain't nothing out running from V84. Cadillac looking like it's sitting still, caught Maybelline at the top of the hill. Maybelline, why don't you be true? I said, Maybelline, baby, please be true.
Fiddling it, yeah. You know, one of the songs used to thrill us then. I mean, Movie Mag.
Oh, you remember that thing?
Well, I mean, you know, we never kind of quite knew what these songs meant, you know, but I mean, that's such a great story, that.
Oh.
I remember you telling me there was, that was based in truth, wasn't it?
Oh, yeah, really. See, growing up
Even
on
the shotgun
farm-
behind the door?
That's right. Yeah, I was struck on a little girl by the name of Martha Faye Johnson.
Yeah.
And I knew that her dad did have the shotgun behind the door. She was kind of wealthy, and I was an old poor boy, and I knew that he had two reasons. He didn't want me fooling around with Martha Faye.
Don't blame him.
And he wanted to practice shooting that gun, you know. That little old song was, "Well, let me take you to the movie, man, so I can hold your hand. Oh, it ain't that I don't like your house, it's just that doggone man. And that double barrel behind the door, it waits for car, I know. So climb up on old Becky's back and let's ride to the picture show."
Now, who's Becky?
Becky was the horse. I had an old horse.
You used to take the horse to the movies?
We'd ride the horse to the movies out back.
It didn't come in. It didn't come in. Oh, I wouldn't be surprised. Anything.
No, the horse didn't get to come in.
It's great hearing that those were like real stories, because, you know, it just communicated itself so easy to us, that kind of thing. We were just kind of poor Liverpool kids, not really country boys, you know, but
Right.
you could hear it just coming through that these things were like true, you know. And you know the other thing where you do, "There made the world, he made it round. You're loving it to the sugar bugger, it's getting late. No, that's Lend Me Your Comb. That's Lend Me Your Comb. There's similar chords there.
Yeah.
I used to do Lend Me Your Comb.
Oh,
but
really?
the thing about it was, why we used to love it was this line that we thought was like really like far out. "Sugar bugger, it's getting late," because in England.
I know. I found out about it when I
That's,
came over in '64. That's when I met you guys.
Yeah. Yeah,
And
Abbey
you-
Road.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and you were the one who told me. You said, "Hey, they had to bleep that
I
out."
said, "Great, man, great. How did you dare do that?" He said, "What's wrong with it?"
I know.
Sugar bugger? He said, "Well, that doesn't mean anything where I'm from."
It
We're
does.
saying, "Wow, you controversial fool, you." But I love that. Lend me your coat. It's time to go home. I gotta confess, my hair is a mess. Your daddy will shout.
Your mama will shout, "Let's come in the way we went out."
Well,
Kissing you was
fun, honey bun. Thanks for the day. Time's come to run, honey bun. Sugar bug, it's getting late.
Let July straighten my tie. Lend me your comb. We gotta go home. You know, I used that chord progression
Yeah.
on that song, and a little later on, there was two guys came out by the name of the Everly Brothers who. Remember that? Wake up, little Susie. Yeah.
Yeah. been a lot of that, though, cross-fertilization, whatever you call it.
Yeah, well, everybody was searching for their own identity of doing something. And we borrowed from each other through the years, you know, let's face it.
You can do anything but lay off of my blue suede shoes.
Elvis's new label wanted to do more than just borrow when it came to blue suede shoes. But Elvis was in no hurry to compete with his old friend Carl.
Had Elvis jumped on that song when they wanted him to, I wouldn't have had a hit record with it. He would have took it because of just like everything else he ever covered, it became his song. But he waited till my record had sold over 1 million copies. He recorded it then in April after my song had been to #1. It was coming down the chart, and bam, he took it right back to the top.
You can do anything but lay off of my blue suede shoes.
While all of this was happening for Carl in the States, on the other side of the Atlantic Ocean, a group of young lads were scrambling to get every Carl Perkins record they could lay their hands on. These young men were so influenced by what Carl was laying down, they went on to record 7 of his songs. The Beatles would go on to change the face of rock and roll. And along with them went Everybody's Trying to Be My Baby and Honey Don't by Carl Perkins. The Beatles even did a version of Blue Suede Shoes. No other songwriter had more songs recorded by the Beatles than did Carl Perkins.
Say you will when you won't, honey, don't.
But I mean, I remember being there, you know, before the Beatles, before anything, where I was just as fans. You were already had your career started, you know. But we'd be there, like I remember being in John's house. We'd have one record, you know, you'd often have to travel all the way across the town because you'd hear the legend. So-and-so's got a Carl Perkins record. You'd say, where's he live? Where's he live? What's the bus route? And we'd get on about 3 buses across town to there, and get to there, go up to his house. We hear, you've got a Carl Perkins record. He said, yeah, sure I have. We said, can we borrow it, please? You know, just for a day, man. Just while we get the records, just while we get the chords, the words and stuff. We just listen to that thing all evening, man. Sit there, play it at slow speed to get the words off it.
You mean you slow the record down?
It's a miracle. What'd you say? What'd you say? I don't know. One miracle, I think. It's great though, man.
Well, goes to show you never know who's listening and what they're thinking.
It's funny, isn't it? Yeah, I still love all of those tunes. Whenever we jam with the band, you know, you tend to stay around this nice, simple stuff.
Well, I'm sitting here wondering what a matchbox over my clothes. Yeah, I'm sitting here wondering what a matchbox over my clothes. I ain't got no matches, but I got a long way to go.
Let me be your little dog till your big dog comes. And let me be your little dog till your big dog comes. When your big dog gets here, watch this puppy dog run.
'Cause I'm sitting here wondering what my matchbox hold my clothes. I'm sitting here wondering what my matchbox hold my clothes. I ain't got no matches, Lord, I got a long way to go. Can you pick one?
Yeah, but
Get down now. Uh-huh. I hear you. All right, you're showing out now.
well, you know, I've got to show off sometime, Carl. I mean, I'll show the speed licks in
That
here, you know.
is great.
Again, with that song there, what's all that about? You know, I'm sitting here wondering, matchbox holding my clothes?
Well-
What is that, hole in my clothes or holding my clothes?
I'm sitting here wondering, will a matchbox hold my clothes? Because I am
Like a little suitcase?
Yeah, I'm a very poor man, you know.
Yeah.
But really, I didn't know there was a guy by the name of Blind Lemon Jefferson had that song out. and my hand is to you, man, I had never heard that. The first time my dad came to Sun Records with me, he started singing a verse of that song. My dad was not a professional, but he said, you ought to do that Matchbox. And he started out, I said, well, I don't know it. So he said, well, I'm sitting here wondering what but it was slow blues.
Oh, yeah?
But Jerry Lee Lewis was playing piano on this session, and he started with that riff. And Sam Phillips came out of the studio. He said, hey, man, do something with that song. Yeah. I like what you're doing. And I just started making it up.
With what people were calling his next hit, Matchbox, fresh in the can and Blue Suede Shoes still on top of the charts, a date was set for the Perry Como Show in New York City. On March 24th, 1956, a national audience would be introduced to Carl Perkins.
I ain't got no matches, got a long way to go.
Carl had no doubt this would blow his career wide open. But it wasn't meant to be. On March 22nd, on their way to national recognition, Carl and his band got into a terrible car accident. A few days later, from his hospital bed, Carl watched Elvis perform Blue Suede Shoes on the Milton Berle Show to a national audience.
You know, for a long time I laid in the hospital and I thought, you know, why me, Lord? I mean, I got so close and yet I was so far from achieving at that time what could have meant a big difference in my career, you know. But I pretty soon I started thinking about what I had left rather than what I lost. And I've lived by that theory all my life since then. It's not what we lose, it's what we have left, it's what we do with what we've got left. And I thought, hey, I got a great woman at home. I've got 3 children at that time, another one soon to be on the way. And but it was a real down time in my life. I laid and looked at that hospital ceiling till I heard a boy humming, mopping the floor, and I said, you don't play as you sing, do you? He said, yeah, I got an old box at home. So I talked him into slipping it into the hospital room, and they opened up the intercoms, and I sang Blue Suede Shoes to all the patients in the hospital in Wilmington, Delaware. Kind of a little radio show I'd put on from my hospital bed.
Although it was a setback, Carl persevered and went on to write, perform, and influence generations of writers and guitar players. From Buddy Holly to Bob Dylan, with the likes of Jimi Hendrix and Eric Clapton along the way. Carl Perkins has proven that this country boy from Tennessee is truly a cornerstone of rock and roll history.
I want you to put your hands together for Mr. Carl Perkins.
From the 50s to the 90s, the music of Carl Perkins has crossed generations and genres, showing no signs of fading away. His influence on popular music is as strong as ever. Just ask Tom Petty and some of his fans.
Well, that's how let me say you will when you won't. Tell me that you do, baby, when you don't. Put your arm around and let me know how I feel. Tell the truth, now here's a love for real. Whoa, honey, honey, gone, honey, gone, honey, gone. Hey, honey, gone. Say you will when you want. Honey, gone. Well, that's sometime I love you on Saturday night. Sunday morning you don't look right. You've been out just painting the town. Oh, baby, been slipping around, but now, honey, gone. Honey, gone. Honey, gone. Hey, honey, gone. Well, tell that driver put his big foot on the gas. Let's run that old gray dog as long as it will last, 'cause I'm restless. I got to get on out of town. I gotta go right now. Take me where the living easy. That's where Carl Perkins can be found.
Carl's elusive fame has him writing songs for such stars as Patsy Cline, the Statler Brothers, Dolly Parton, and even a movie soundtrack with Johnny Cash. To the public, he may have been behind the scenes, but to the music industry, Carl Perkins is an icon whose songs will live forever.
I've been asked a lot of times through the years. There was Elvis, there was Jerry Lee Lewis, there was Johnny Cash, Roy Orbison. All these people at Sun Records became big stars. What happened to you? I tell them I went home.
Finding your way home's easy when you have a highway named after you. But the wheels of fate have a little bit more in store for our country boy from Tennessee.
I feel lucky that I've even got to be a very small spoke in this big wheel of rockabilly music.
Well, Carl didn't stay home for long. His legendary songwriting kept him right smack in the middle of the next generation of rock and roll superstars. But it didn't stop there. As country music became more and more popular, its acclaimed performers and rising stars looked to Carl's music for guidance and inspiration. Whether it's the writings of the Rockabilly Cat or the Country Gentleman, the music of Carl Perkins will continue to touch the hearts of all music lovers.
Lord, I'm sitting here wondering about my clothes. Sitting here wondering about my clothes. I ain't got no matches, but I got a long way to go. The great Carl Perkins.
One thing's for sure. He's touched the hearts of millions of fans, and they have also touched his.
Deep inside, today, Carl Perkins is a pretty happy old man. I really am.
Through my life, it seems like every 10 years you pop up with something that gives me a drive to keep going. I remember, I remember getting a phone call from you in 1981.
I was sitting at home and my wife Val answered the phone. She said, Carl, he says he's Paul McCartney.
You said, what you doing, boy?
I said, I'm sitting here at the house, man. What you doing? Where are you?
You said, can you come down to Montserrat?
He said, I'm down in the West Indies and I'm recording an album.
I said, well, if I knew where it was at, it would help. You sent me...
Somewhere in the Caribbean. Just head this way. We'll find
That's
it.
right. And you sent me a ticket. But the great part of that to me was 8 wonderful days with you and your family.
As the days went by and time started drawing near and I knew I was going to go home the next morning, I sat out on the patio that night and I was thinking about how lucky Carl Perkins was. And I'm kind of sentimental, so I thought, sometimes I can sing it when I can't say it.
And the night before I left, remember a little song that I wrote?
I do.
I sit on the Isle of Montserrat, no, I never shall forget. Just a country boy, a guitar and a song. You invited me in, and you've treated me like kin, and you've given me a reason to go on. You're my old friend. Thanks for inviting me in. My old friend. May this goodbye never mean the end. If we never meet again this side of life, in a little while over yonder where it's peace and quiet, my old friend, won't you think about me every now and then? when I finished,
If I told you how
he was really crying then, tears flowing
it
down his
wouldn't seem
face, and he stepped outside.
for emotions, they're just now setting in.
And Linda put her arms around me.
All
She
I
said,
wanted
"Thank you, Carl."
know
He needed that.
that wherever we
Lennon had been killed
we can all
the prior December.
best of friends. My old friend.
It was a touching moment, and it was kind of a little frightful moment for me.
My old friend, may this goodbye never mean the end. And if we never meet again, this side of life, in a little while over yonder, where is peace and quiet, my old friend,
Won't you think about me every now and then? And that was the little girl that answered the original phone call. Hello?
Paul McCartney just called.
Belle, are you kidding me?
No, but I didn't answer the phone. I was in the...
Paul McCartney. Now listen, this, I'm telling you guys.
Hear me?
He left his number. Now let me tell you something. If you think that this boy is not got connection with the spirit world,
my old friend, thanks for inviting me. My old friend, may this goodbye never mean the end. And if we never meet again, this side of life, in a little while over yonder, where is peace and quiet, my old friend, won't you think about me every now and then? And I'll think about you, my old friend. Won't you think about me every now and then? Oh, beautiful.
and a friend is something you can't have too many of. A real friend is one of God's greatest gifts.
You know, don't even remember the crazy night when a friend came by in a boat and we went out. Remember we went
do
out
I
there? Was this
remember.
some boat? This is like, boy, it was like the British Navy had arrived.
I
or something.
know.
In a
It was
big posh yacht. And I remember you said, I've just done this song and I'd like to sing it to you. Here you go. And we're all sitting around. Go on, Carl, you sing it. You go. On the island of Montserrat, I never will forget.
And I forgot.
He forgot. I never will forget. Everyone's going, he's forgot. I think that went down best of the whole evening.
That was beautiful. Do you ever do old spiritual songs?
Well, I don't know that many.
Well, I bet you know, let's see. I looked over Jordan, and what did I see? coming for to carry me home. A band of angels coming after me, coming for to carry me home. Swing low, sweet chariot, coming for to carry me home. Swing low, sweet chariot, coming for to carry me home. Well, if you get there before I do, coming for to carry me home. Tell all my friends, old Carl's coming too. Yeah, coming for to carry me home. Here, here, swing low, sweet chariot, coming for to carry me home. Swing low, oh, sweet chariot, coming for to carry me home. Well, they're coming for to carry me home. Paul, you're a wonderful man.
Lovely guy yourself, man. Now listen, thanks. This has been a nice little opportunity for me to catch up with you again. And anytime you want to do this, I'm here, man.
God bless you. Ladies and gentlemen, they don't come no better than this one. Paul
Carl
McCartney.
Perkins, get out of here.
God bless you.
Well, it's a 1 for the money, 2 for the show, 3 to get ready. Now go, cat, go, don't you? Step on my best ready, shoot, shoot. Hey, hey, you can do anything, but lay off of my best shoot. Burn my house, burn my house.
You can burn my house, steal my car, drink my liquor from an old fruit jar.
Do anything that you want to do.
But Paul, lay off of them shoes and don't you
Ain't got 'em up today,
step on
but
my blue suede.
you got your white sneakers on. But you can do anything, but lay off of my blue suede. We could go on for hours, man. We could go on for hours.
Great.
Thanks, Carl.
Thank you, my man.
Thanks for being you, huh? Big inspiration, man. Really, to me, all the Beatles, countless millions of other British kids. The man. Thank you.
God bless you, Paul McCartney.
You too,
Wonderful.
Carl. Thanks, man.
Well, there you have it. A glimpse into the history of the original Cat, along with some special moments of two old friends sharing stories and trading licks.
We're not trying to live too fast. We might as well try to live in class. Better move out before the rent comes due. 'Cause we won't live in a blue suede shoe. All your children want to rock. Mama, all your children want to rock. We want to roll, want to rock, want to pop till we pop. All your children want to rock.
Carl's place in music history is as solid as rock and roll itself. From his gospel roots through the birth of a new music to his induction into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, the rockin' guitar man with his searing solos and low-key dignified manner will always be the king of rockabilly.
Well, all your children want to rock.
So Carl, keep picking and go, Cat, go.
That little picking thing. Remember, you used to show me a little fast little picking thing you used to
Oh, a little Les Paul thing?
do? Yeah, very pretty little thing you used to do.
Let's see.
We'll go away for some time. We'll be here for a few hours, you know. We'll see you later.
Yeah, I love your drum. Now this was Echo back then.
Boys on it. He's on it. pleasure. Anytime, you know what I'm saying? I love it. Anytime, baby. Yeah!